not the one-way perspective. We have been together for 8, married for 5 years with a 2-year-old beautiful daughter. We occasionally argue, but mostly for minor stuff, nothing crazy that can't be fixed. For the most part, I thought we were happily married. But my wife has been acting strange for the last 5 months. A few things she done have led me to believe she might be having an affair with our boss. My wife will get home from work, she would always talk about her boss. Anyways, at first, I didn't mind because she would tell me about work-related stuff and that her boss is cool. But then she started talking about him a little too much every day. I start thinking maybe she is attracted to him and maybe thinking of an affair having with him because she would only talk about him and not about any of her other male co-workers. What really makes me think that as more she talked about him, his personal life would come, and she would talk about his tattoos. She hates tattoos. I ask her how she knows about his tattoos, some aren't even visible. She seen that it bothered me and that I started to get suspicious about it, so she stops talking about him every day. She done other things that make she's doing something shady. About 2 weeks ago I found out that she had created a new email account but only accessed it from her work computer. She been coming home late with lame excuse as to why. Her phone rings but she won't answer it around me and it never leaves her side. She started going out with the girls a lot recently, although when I ask their names she always says, just some friends from work. You don't know them. Called her out on that since we work for same company. She gave some BS excuse, so I dropped it. She goes to the store or to do an errand, she takes longer than usual. This past Saturday she went grocery shopping. She left around 10 in the morning and didn't return till 6. The other night she came home in a bad mood. While she was in the kitchen I came up from behind to hug her. She pushed me off her, saying I only wanted bonding from her. She stormed out the house and I asked her where she was going, and she said nowhere. She didn't come back till 2 hours later. There's more, but you guys get the picture. At this point I'm at a loss. I don't think she would cheat on me because I know she loves me, but I have this gut feeling that something isn't right with her. I just don't have any proof. In her defense, she has lost both of her grandparents in the last 18 months. I can see it has had a negative effect on her. Our physical life is kind of sporadic, but this past December and January we probably had our best bonding in a long time. I came up with a simple plan that I've already started putting into play. I've brought 3 Sony VAR. I brought them off Amazon, so I might get them Saturday. The plan is to put one in her car, another one in our bedroom or home office, and the last one in office at work. It shouldn't be a problem since we work together, different departments but same company. I also plan on buy a GPS tracker. I haven't been able to find a good one. I did set my old iPhone recorder and set it up in our bedroom. She says she is staying home today. I will be back later with anything to report. I'm hesitant to do anything at work at this time for a couple of reasons. The 2 major reasons: 1, doing something at work could have a negative impact on my employment. 2, I don't want to come off as the crazy, controlling and jealous husband. Plus, I have nothing to show or prove she's cheating, just my gut feeling. I know trouble I could be in if someone finds out. The VAR I found is a mini one about the size of a quarter. But your point is still valid, it's still risky. I haven't done anything yet and I still haven't received the VAR. I still have some figure it all and do it the right way. I wasn't saying her grandparents' death gave her a green light to cheat. I was only trying to provide context about what's been going on. Trust me, there's no probable reason or explanation she can give me that makes cheating okay. Well, the iPhone I placed in our bedroom didn't really come up with anything conclusive. It was mostly talk about her friends and stuff of that nature. The chance she did anything today are slim to none since she spent the day with our and her mother. On the other hand, I've come to realize chances are my wife is indeed cheating, or at the very least has before cheated. She fits the description of a cheating wife to the T, yet I still hope that she isn't. A part me is sad, other part is angry at the fact she would even think about cheating on me. I'm not perfect, but I'm a pretty good husband. Not to sound cocky, but I'm attractive. Of course I could lose a few pounds. I make good money. I try to spend as much time with her as possible, and as a family, I make point to show her I still love her every day. Everything considered, we have a pretty good life together. Hiring Pi is a possibility. Would rather wait and see what the VAR come up with first. Hiring a P I can cost you a fortune if you aren't careful. Yesterday morning I tried to log on her and T account, view her call history online, but no luck. I couldn't figure out her password. I was able to set up the 3 VAR. One in our bedroom, one in our home office, and the last one in her car as planned. I was still thinking about placing the mini VAR somewhere in her office. If she is cheating with her boss, then the best way of find out is to place one in her office, but the risk is high. She does have it written down but on her phone. I have to find a way to get my hands on her phone and break her code lock. The problem is it's glued to her hand, it never leaves her sight. Listen to the first recording from the VAR that was in her car, didn't get much of anything. It was mostly her talking to her friends. She was making plans to go out with friends this weekend. I've planted the GPS tracker in her car. I should be able to follow her movements if she does go out this weekend. Besides that, not much has changed. That's the problem. Waiting is tearing me up inside. I don't know that's real anymore. Does she real mean it when she says she loves me? She says can't picture her life without me. She tells me, and our daughter are the most important thing to her. The past Saturday we went out, she told all that and more. She was a little drunk, but I used to be able to believe her without doubt even when she was a little drunk. Now all I have is doubt. Part me wants to confront her now and get this over with, but I wouldn't have any way of knowing what she tells me is true. I spent most of today listening to this past week's VAR's recordings. Only one conversation she had with a friend that was somewhat alarming. She mentioned how good another coworker looked. They both joked about how good or bad he might be in bed. It was all said in a joking manner. I don't believe either one of them was serious, which is kind of disappointing. I thought by now the VARs would have worked or at the very least given me clues as with whom she might be cheating with, but as of now I have nothing. I was able to see her credit card and bank statement. Her bank statement was normal, nothing out of the ordinary. Her credit card statement did have 2 purchases from Victoria's Secret in February. I'm pretty sure I would know or remember if she bought something from there. Since she only buys one type of clothing from there, I think we know what that is. It's safely to assume whatever she bought wasn't meant for me. I don't know if that's enough to confront her with, but I'm thinking about it. I have nothing solid, but more red flags keep popping up. The more I read the stories on here, the easier it is to come to terms with what might be or is happening. So, I decided to contact a divorce attorney. I have a free consultation Monday. Hopefully things aren't as bad as I think they are. Not really, she only goes out maybe once a week and it's usually to a restaurant with her friends for an hour or 2. I don't think that in itself is the problem. Everybody needs sometimes away from home. Besides, I'm the one who goes out more. Just this week I spent Wednesday and Thursday in City watching the Big East tournament live. My wife had no problem with it and I've never cheated. Well, I tried to get into her phone. The problem is the passcode, I wasn't able to break it. The GPS is up and running. I'm tracking her this very moment. She out with her friends so far. She doing she said she would. She hasn't done anything like that recently. I've tried my best to remain normal throughout this whole process. I don't see how she would be onto me. The plan is to use VAR and GPS till I find the truth. Today I have a meeting with a lawyer, mostly to see what divorce will do to me and what I should be doing to prepare for it. It's not what I want, but it's the most likely outcome and it's better to be prepared. I talked to a PI. We plan to meet sometime this afternoon. I'm just waiting to get a call back with the time. It's been a couple of days, not much has changed. The VARs haven't worked. I thought by now I would be able to prove that she was having an affair, and with who. As of now, VARs haven't provided me with anything. I'm starting to wonder if I might have misread the situation. I think some else mentioned at another possibility that had nothing to do with my wife cheating. I wasn't able to meet with my lawyer Monday. Something came up and I was forced to chance. I did meet the PI. He was willing to help me for what I believe to be a reasonable fee. He starts Friday. I have business trip Tuesday. I should be gone till Friday. If she is cheating, then she will have plenty of time to see her PI and my PI will be following her. If the PI don't find anything, then I'm going to give up and look at other possibilities. Well, it didn't take long for my PI to get something. He was able to get into my wife's cell phone account. My wife is always calling, texting 2 numbers consistently and for long periods of time. It seems to have stopped around late February, but her data usage is way up. We still don't know who the numbers belong to. He should have the info by end of the day. I'm also going to try and figure if those numbers belong to her boss. I haven't been able to check yet since I just received the emails he sent. She stared asking question already. This Thursday she asked if anything was wrong. She pointed out a few things that I normally do but haven't. I blamed it on stress. One of my managers that runs one of my business is going to leave in May. It's add to my level of stress, but not as much as my wife believes. I've looked through her whole department. None of the numbers belong to anyone that works in her department. So that rules out her boss. I plan to search the whole company. The PI haven't contacted me yet since my last email. I sent him a text a few minutes asking for any additional info. Found out one of the numbers does belong to one of our bosses. I originally thought the number belonged to her direct boss. It turns out the number belongs to one of the company execs. This guy is old. Forget about being old enough to be her dad. The guy is closer to her grandparents' age. I can't understand any of this. Part me can't even believe it's him. It just has to be someone else. This is crazy. It's a prepaid phone number. The only additional info the PI was able to find was what carrier the number belonged to. The PI was able to confirm that other number belongs to our boss. About her having a burner phone too. I'm searching our house now. If she is using one, then I want to find it. I'm done. I can't take this crap anymore. I just confronted her about everything. I've been searching our entire house looking for burner phone and trying to get ready for my trip. While searching our closet, I looked inside her travel bag. I found a box of condoms opened and with one missing. We haven't used condoms since we've been married. After finding the condoms, I lost it and called her. I started to demand answer about what's been going on. I know it wasn't the smart move. I just couldn't keep it in anymore. She's leaving work early so we can talk. Everything has turned to crap. I never thought things would turn out this way. My wife came home. I demanded answer. First, I asked her about the condoms. She claims she didn't know who they belonged to and she didn't know why or how an open box of condoms got in her bag. I didn't believe any of it, started asking more questions about why she was gone for long periods of time. Why is sleeping with her phone under pillow? Who's she talking to all the time? She kept talking, but nothing she was saying was making any sense. We kept going around in circles. It wasn't getting us anywhere. At point asked to see her phone. She refused, so I went for her purse. She grabbed it and wouldn't to let it go. We stared to scream at each other. She called me controlling, crazy, and she couldn't have a civil conversation with the way I was acting, and she was leaving. I asked her where she was going, but she brushed me off. The PA is following her now. She at her mom's with our daughter. The GPS also confirms this. I've asked the PA to send me the most recent call logs from my wife's cell. I can't get the VAR, it's in her car still. I won't be able to get it out till tomorrow. I will have to be careful about what I do at work. I don't have any solid evidence to prove she is having an affair with our boss. I'm going to do what I should have done from the beginning and let the PI do his job. The last business trip she had was in November. I don't know if our boss also went on that trip. I originally believed her P was her direct boss. We will call him OM1. He's the one she talked about constantly and knew all about his personal life. He's a lot closer to our age and he's a pretty good-looking guy. He seemed like guy she would cheat with. It would make sense. The guys have always had a pretty open personality and likes to joke around. Maybe that's how she came to know about all of his personal stuff. All evidence I currently have does not point to him as her P. OM2 is the grandpa. He's head of her department. The evidence I have points to him as being the AP, which is disgusting. I can't comprehend it. Out of all guys she could have an affair with, she picked him. As for going to the HR or to his wife, that's not an option right now. I don't have to enough prove one, who the other man is to, prove that the affair took place. A call log and a box of condoms at best proves my wife is cheating, but not with who. I have to carefully about how I play this. My wife is still at her mother's. She planned to come home this morning, but given the weather I told her to stay, which is fine. I don't want to see her right now. I've searched the house top to bottom and found nothing else. My PI did send over the updated call logs, but she hasn't called neither of the two numbers. My PI believe they are talking through apps like WhatsApp. Either way, divorce is going to ruin me financially with or with her job. We make about the same, but the difference is my work salary isn't my only income, unlike her. She at her mom's still. Both the GPS and PI can confirm this. A few minutes ago, I FaceTime our daughter. My wife was the one who set it up. I'm 100% sure she at her mom's. The PI have called the burner number multiple times. Each time no one answered and no voicemail has been set up. My wife doesn't really travel for work. Maybe 2 to 3 a year if that, and it's only for 3 days at most. My wife and I have talked. She's on her way home with our daughter. It's about a 30 minutes drive to our house. I'm not ready to talk to her yet, mostly because I don't want to hear more of her lies. But the way I see it, it's better to get it over with now than wait and do it later. We've talked. She started off saying how much she loved me and our little family. Any problems we might have can be solved between us since our love is that strong. She spent a good 15 minutes saying BS like that. I cut her off and told her knew what was happening. After pressuring her for a minute, she admitted to the affair and that protection did belong to her. She claimed she was sorry and that it was a mistake. She promised it would never happen again. I made the mistake in thinking she was and would be honest. I asked her who the OM was. She declined to answer, saying it didn't matter anymore since the affair is over now. The only thing that mattered was moving on together, and reliving the past wouldn't help us. She figured out that I didn't have a I lead her to believe. We went back and forth. I realized this conversation wasn't get us nowhere. So, I told her I was done. She looked upset by the fact I wasn't playing her game. After a while she tried to play it off as if everything was fine, as if nothing had happened. Now she back to being angry because I refused to sleep in the same room as her. After she went to bed, I snuck out to get the VAR. I haven't listened to it yet. I'm planning on doing it tomorrow. A quick update about what I found on the VAR. My wife didn't call the OM directly, but she did talk to a friend about me finding out. I'm sure who the friend was, but I don't really think that matters. Anyway, during the conversation with her friend, I was able to confirm who the OM, and it's the grandpa, which is sickening. The guy has 30 plus years on her. I still can't understand why him of all people. I'm also sure the affair is over, maybe for a month or more going by the conversation. It would make sense given the phone call stopped showing up around a month ago and the PI also wasn't able to find anything. That's my next step, is to figure when and why it ended. My wife stayed home today. She didn't go work today. I stepped VAR in our room and our home office. I plan to check both before I go to sleep today. Kicking my wife out probably isn't going to happen because I can't force her to leave. As much as it sucks, this technically still her house. When it comes to Grandpa, I have to be careful how I deal with him. He is married for at least 20 plus years and makes good money, but he's a trash can. No one like him. Besides my wife, apparently. As of now, I won't be doing anything woke because I can't prove anything, at least not in a courtroom. VAR won't cut it. In New York has one-party consent law. As for her friend, I agree she's toxic. I don't know who she is yet. I know it's not one of her good friends because I know all of them. She could be a new work friend I haven't met yet. Whoever she is, she toxic. She been helping and coaching my wife on what to say and act. My wife clearly doesn't realize her friend's advice is making things 10x worse. Many might not agree, but I do think this is her first affair and only time she has cheated. I can't prove this, but for most of our marriage she's been a great wife. It's only recently she started to change up. I'm going to talk to my wife that I need her phone or it might be a deal breaker. First, I want to hear what's on the VAR that I left in our room. I haven't been home much of the day. I've only been home for about 2 hours. So far, she is acting different. Last night she was downright cold. Today she more like the person I think she is. She hasn't said anything about the affair, but she does look like she's been crying. I know people want me to take some kind of action. I probably should do something. Normal, I would do something, but this isn't a normal situation. I'm not in the right frame of mind to take any kind of action. My emotions are all over the place right now. I'm numb. Is it even normal not to feel anything? For the last 2 days that's what I've been feeling, just numb to everything. I can't really explain it. I'm not angry or sad, I don't feel anything. It scares me. At first this whole thing was heartbreaking until the day I found out. It all turned to anger, but I feel it's past. I've listened to part of recording from the VAR I left in her room. She hasn't said anything that I didn't already know, although she has now told her sister. Listening to recording, get a feeling that she knew but not everything. But unlike her friend, my wife's sister encouraged my wife to come clean. Going by the way my wife was talking, I think she's as confused as I am. I still haven't listened to the whole recording, so I still have to do that. I am planning on doing it tonight. Her sister doesn't know much about the affair. Judging by the conversation, she doesn't know who the OM is. I probably know more at this point than she does. I don't know when she found out about the affair, but I don't blame her for not telling me she knew. She is her sister after all. I think she finally starting to realize how much she screwed up. She started begging me to talk to her, and she now says she's willing to do anything to fix her mistakes. Most the part I've been ignoring her. My wife and her both 32. She's been a full-time employee for about 10 years or so. She started interning since her junior year in college, right around mid-level. I don't think she is protecting the grandpa, it's more her protecting herself from what would happen if this got out. As for asking her any more info about the affair, I'm not really interested in hearing what she has to say, mostly because it's probably more lies. Besides, she should be forthcoming with that info on her own. I shouldn't need to tell her that. I've given myself a due date. If she hasn't done something by April 1st, then I'm probably done. Nothing has really happened in last couple of days. Plus, the last couple of days, I have been trying to catch up on some work. Her affair has had a negative effect on my work performance, so haven't had the time to post as much. My wife's career is over. The chance of her ever moving up in the company are done. If the affair comes out, my wife is the one that comes out looking the worst. Her whole reputation and credibility are thrown into question. And knowing my wife, that does scare her. She always been career-driven. She needs this job way more than I need mine. If my wife needs me to show her how much she screwed up, that leaves me feeling like reconciliation is pointless with her. If you ask me, I'm doing more than enough by letting her show me maybe we can save this. Some guys wouldn't even do that, they would just leave. I sent her a text asking her for a timeline with all the times, dates, places, and length of the affair. Who the affair was with, we know who, but if she lies then I'm done, and any emails or anything else she can show to prove what she's telling me is true. I need all of this before I even consider talking to her. I won't expose the affair at work yet. I am thinking about telling the grandpa OM wife. I'm going to ask the PA if he can provide me with her info. It shouldn't be a problem for him. After that we'll decide how to best contact his wife and tell. I don't see her going through with what I'm asking. Her loss, not mine. Does divorce in New York really take that long? I was told I could be divorced within 6 months. Yeah, I know a few guys that have been cleaned out by their ex-wives. I make more than she does. I've been ignoring her for the most part. I haven't had a real conversation with her in person for almost a week. She has asked to talk, but I usually shut that down unless it has something to do with our daughter. She seems sorry, says she wants to work this out. Most people here don't believe that. I don't really know if she's being honest. She sends me a text every night asking to come to bed. I've been sleeping in the guest bedroom since she came back from her mom's. That seems to have bothered her more than I thought it would. She hasn't really done anything besides saying she's sorry. She still does most of the things she usually does around the house. Maybe today that will change. I still feel numb. A part of me doesn't care. It scares me. I've always been kind of laid back and nonchalant about things, but never when it came to stuff like this. Maybe she's going through something similar. Well, my wife has confessed. She has told me everything. At least that's what she is saying. She did give a timeline, not as detailed as I wanted, but given she only had a few hours to put together, I thought it was decent. The affair is with the grandpa. She admitted to it. The affair started in late August and ended for the first time in November. They both continued the affair again in January, and she ended it in February. Her reason for ending the affair was she felt she was falling in love with Grandpa OM. It started to scare her, so she cut it off before it can go any farther. According to her timeline, they only meet for something physical 5 times. The first time being in September, last time was in February. They only had slept together when either she or I were out of town. Did go on a lot of dates, usually during morning or lunch, at least once a week. I know probably shouldn't, but I believe her. She looked like she was honest and genuine. We didn't sleep with her, but we did share the same bed again. Part of me felt bad for her, so I wanted to comfort her. I did tell her I wanted a more detailed timeline and something to back up what she'd say. Why did I comfort her? I don't really know why. Even though she cheated, part of me still love her. It's not something I can switch on and off. I really do love this woman. She was my first real relationship and only girl I've ever loved. Seeing her cry and in pain makes me want to comfort her. I guess it's second nature to me now. Now if what she's told me is the complete truth, I can't know for sure. I might love her, but I'm not stupid. She's been lying to me for months. Chance of her telling me the truth now are slim to none. I told her I need her to prove to me what she says is true any way she can. I've given my original dead to her to have a detailed timeline done. When it comes to who ended the affair, who knows? Right now, that's not my main priority. But I will find out. I haven't asked the question how and why the affair started. Why with him of all people? I will be asking those questions maybe tonight or tomorrow. Also, I haven't asked for her passwords, but I will. Now I still haven't decided if I'm going to divorce her or reconcile. If I'm honest, it's probably divorce. I still have to figure out how to handle this at work. Exposing this caused a lot of problems not only for me but others as well. A lot of office politics have been happening for the last year and a half. I still plan on telling the OM wife. I've already contacted the PI to get me that info. I think that answer most of the questions. I haven't finished reading all the posts yet, so sorry if I missed any. She was mostly raised by her grandparents. Her parents have the most dysfunctional relationship you will ever see. They have divorced and remarried each other a good 5 times. They recently got back together again. Why, I know how long that will last. Her home life growing up was beyond chaotic. Her grandparents are the only ones who have her and her sister a stable home. As for the tattoo guy, her direct boss, nothing shows me that anything happened between them. The phone records show minimal contact. The evidence doesn't show my wife to be a serial cheater. Could she be? Maybe, but I don't think so. My wife, I will never win the Wife of the Year reward, but as a daughter you probably couldn't ask for a better one. She will never admit it, but she's always wanted to have her parents approve, and I know it hurts that she's never gotten it from them. She tried everything, honors in high school, plus sports, double major in college, and she worked a part-time job. You name it, she tried it. I can't confirm if the OM knows. I haven't told him, but my wife might have. He is married and his wife will be informed. As of now, I won't do anything at work. She's good when it comes to money. She makes a pretty good salary, plus her dad should leave her more than enough money. Me and OM might make more, but we both know who has more. My comment: OP is the time you need to be at your most level-headed and have your eyes wide open. BS filter must be set to max. Why on earth would you not raise hell at work? You are trying to preserve office politics. Really? Some senior old fart at work screws your wife over a 7-month period, and more than likely other people know, showing him to be the better man, and he goes home to his old wife with a smirk on his face, and you worry about office politics. Destroy him and do it at SAP. You have now pointed out that she will be financially well off even if she loses her job. All the more reason to not hesitate. They might both get fired, and that will be more than okay. She needs to not only understand that she has destroyed this marriage, but now has you questioning her morality or sanity or both. Morality if she slept with him for career advancement, that is financial gain. We know what we call women who do that, don't we? Sanity if she slept with him because she found an old, wrinkly man attractive enough to sleep with and then start to fall in love with. Someone she knows has no character because he is sleeping with a married woman and using his position to enable it. Part 2 ending coming soon. Don't put yourself in this situation.